Russell fam, in today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 tips on how to start homeschooling. Be back in just a second. Hi, my name is Becky and welcome to our Russell's Loving Life YouTube channel. Here on this channel, we talk about homeschooling, homemaking, and everything in between. I'm a homeschooling mom of 2 and I have been homeschooling since 2012. I am currently homeschooling a 1st grader and a 6th grader. We also have a blog, which is russellslovinglife.com. There, I give you tips and tricks and things that I have learned through my years of homeschooling. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing and clicking that little bell notification down at the bottom. And if you are a returning Russell fam, we are so glad you are back. In today's video, I wanted to share with you 10 tips that you need to do if you are thinking about homeschooling, or if you're just now starting homeschooling and you're saying, okay, I've made the decision, I'm gonna homeschool. Where do I begin? Where do I start? What do I do? So I'm gonna give you these 10 tips and it covers all of that information. Now I know taking that step to homeschooling can be so stressful, it can be so overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. I know my first year, I felt stressed, I felt overwhelmed, but I found some amazing homeschool moms, and I'll get into that, but you are not alone on this journey. Make sure you know that first and foremost. There are so many mamas out there that will answer questions, that will help you. Your homeschooling may look different from theirs, and that's okay. But as homeschool moms, we are all there to support and encourage. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will be happy to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I will contact some of my other homeschool moms and we will get you an answer to your question. But the reason I started this YouTube channel and this blog is because of new homeschooling mamas and homeschooling mamas in general, because I want you to feel like you have support and you have that encouragement that you need. Now, I'm not saying homeschooling is always easy, and I'm not saying it's always hard. We have good days, we have bad days, we have really fun days. So homeschooling is all about how you make it. But if you feel like you are stuck or frustrated, reach out to a homeschool mom. First and foremost, do that, because you are not ever alone on this journey. So let's get to tip number 1. The first tip is know your state's homeschool laws. That is a must. You have to know that and you have to follow them. The best resource that I can give you for that is going to the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. I will leave a link to their website down in the bottom, but they have a list of state laws for every state. It is legal to homeschool in every single of the 50 states, but every state's laws are completely different. So they are there to help you, assist you, answer questions, that type thing. So that is the major resource. And I always check that website out every year to make sure nothing has changed in my state. I am in the state of Mississippi. Here in Mississippi, we are only required to fill out a form with our local attendance officer once a year, once they become age of 1st grade to their 12th grade year. And it's just a form that says I'm homeschooling. It asks what curriculum I'm using. I usually just put on there my father's world, and you can really just say homeschooling if you want to. But that is all we have to do. But I do a lot more than that. I keep every curriculum that we've done, every worksheet, everything like that. I keep all of the tests because I never know if my homeschool laws are going to change. I'll leave a video up here in the iCard to let you see how I keep up with my homeschool record. Tip number 2 is if your child is currently enrolled in a public or private school, you are required to formally withdraw them. Now, every state's different on how you do that. So if you are deciding that you want to homeschool and your child is currently enrolled in a public or private school, contact their school and say, okay, I want to homeschool my child. How do I formally withdraw them? So that is something that you have got to follow up on, but it has to be done. So that's very important. But if your child has never been to a public or private school, then you don't have to worry about that. Tip number 3 is finding a homeschool curriculum. Now, to me, this was one of the hardest parts of it because there are so many amazing curriculums out there, and some curriculums work well for your children and some curriculums won't work well for your children. Now, I know that I've had to tweak some of the ones that I have done. I have a homeschool curriculum playlist. I'll leave that down in the description box below so you can see all the curriculums I use. But I highly suggest that you use a all-in-one type curriculum for your very first year. I use My Father's World, and I have been using it since my son was in kindergarten, and he is now in 6th grade, and I'm currently using it with my daughter, and this is my 2nd year using it with her. But there is an all-in-one curriculum. It's called Easy Peasy All-in-One. I'll leave their link down below. They are free, and they are a internet computer type thing. You can print some things out. They send you to certain websites. So if you're not sure which curriculums you want to use and you just kind of want to get your feet wet and look at some curriculums, there are tons of videos out on YouTube. Like I said, I've got some flip throughs, do a lesson with us, and show you about the curriculums. But there are so many of them out there that I'm just going to give you a heads up that you can get overwhelmed. And you can spend as little as you want or as much as you want, because it goes from little to massive. So you don't have to have every shiny curriculum there is out there, but you do have to find what works best for your child, and that is going to be a trial and error type thing. You've got to learn your teaching style, and you've got to learn their learning style. And every curriculum is different. We use SACS and math for us, and that is the spiral approach, where you learn something and it keeps building on it and keeps building on it, and then that's how my children learn. But there are some children that learn through just mastering it and they're done and they remember it. So there are curriculums out there as well. So just do some research and just don't be overwhelmed. I know when I say that, it is hard, and I'm laughing because I was that way. I was overwhelmed, but another homeschool mom told me about My Father's World. It's an all-in-one curriculum. It gives me everything I need. When I buy the package, and the teacher's manual literally tells me what to say and it tells me what to do. And my SACS and math is the exact same way. So that is why I love those, and they help me. So if you have a question about a curriculum, drop it in the comments and I will be happy to answer it. Tip number 4 is find a support system. Like I talked about earlier in the video, it is so important to have the encouragement and support of your family, other homeschool mamas, other homeschool mama friends, anything like that. You've got to have some form of support. Now, you can do this a number of ways. With everything that's been going on here lately, there aren't meeting or getting together, but I know when I first started, I checked in with my local library because every homeschool mom wears out that library card. So I asked the librarians there, do they know of any local homeschool groups? And they turned me on to some homeschool groups. So I got in touch with them, and they were amazing, okay? I'm talking about my first year. They welcomed me with open arms. They answered all my questions. And that is really why I started this YouTube channel and my blog, is because I got so much support and encouragement from some awesome mamas that I want to give it back. So check with your local library for a homeschool group in your area. If there's not one, there's always a Homeschool Mom Facebook group. I have one that is Homeschool Moms Helping Homeschool Moms. I will leave that link down in the description box too. So you can ask questions, look for other homeschool groups in your areas. Just know that you are not alone, and there are so many ways that you can reach out and have a support system that you don't have to be near them. I mean, I've got so many homeschool mamas from all over the United States. I've got them from Oregon to New Jersey and all in the South too. So they are all over the United States. And I can pick up the phone and call them, FaceTime them, Zoom them, whatever, and they are there for me 24/7. So it is so important to find a support system that supports and encourages you and your family in your homeschool journey. Tip number 5 is start the deschooling process. This only applies if your child has been to a public or private school. Now, my kids did not have never been to a public or private school, so I didn't have to go through this with them. But the deschooling process is when you have to pretty much just deschool your child. It's a transitional period that they're going to go through from being in the structure of a public or private school to being to the more laid-back homeschool setting. Now, I have found that a schedule does not work for us. A routine works for us best. But during this deschooling process, you have to be a little patient, because you're going to get frustrated, your child's going to get frustrated, and it's just not going to be pretty. So just know there is a transitional period that you're going to have to go through, as well as your kids. There are several homeschooling mamas that I have heard from that were teachers, and they came home to homeschool their children, and they said they had to go through the deschooling process for them. So it's a process that everybody has to go through. So there are some things you can do to help ease it. You can do field trips. You can do game schooling, which is basically where you get history board games or any kind of educational board games and play those with your kids. Curl up, read aloud, curl up in a comfy place on the couch, on the floor, wherever, read some books, draw together, paint together, go outside, do some walks, explore nature. There's all kinds of ways to ease into homeschooling instead of just saying, here's your books, it's time to homeschool. That is not going to go well. So just know there is a process and a transitional time that they're gonna have to go through. So everybody's just gonna have to be patient, and you're gonna have to just figure it out together. That is the best advice I can give you, is if you're gonna homeschool your children, y'all have to figure out what works for your family, because what works for mine may not work for yours, or it may. But just know that if you see a homeschool video and this is how they do it, that it's gonna work for you. It's not gonna work that way. So just take it slow, just ease into it that first year, and just know there's gonna be bumps, good days, bad days, but we always have more good days or better days than bad days. Tip number 6 is find a homeschool schedule or a homeschool routine that works best for you. Now, I know there are so many homeschools that look totally different. So for me, we do a routine. We do a 4-day-a-week homeschool week, and that may be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That may be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, just depending on doctor's appointments or things that come up that we need to do. Then we are flexible. So being homeschooled, you have got to learn to be flexible. But I know some homeschool moms do a block schedule, which is where they do from, 8 to 12, they're going to do these subjects. And then from 1 to 3, they're going to do these subjects, if that's how they do it. Our homeschool for Becca with my first grader may last an hour 15 minutes at the max, depending on what we're doing that day. And with my sixth grader, a max day with him is 4 hours. So homeschooling them together, homeschooling multiple children, homeschooling multiple grades, all goes into that time. But we use the routine. Our routine is we wake up, we eat breakfast, we get everybody awake, and then I usually do my schoolwork with Becca, where I help her with her things and we're done, and then she'll go do puzzles or some form of activity on her own, and then my sixth grader, Bailey, will come in and I will have all of his stuff laid out. I'm trying to teach him to become a more independent learner, so I tell him what he has to do, and I let him pick which subjects he wants to do first, and that seems to work best for us. If he has a question or if I need to teach him something that is not understanding, then I do that. But I'm trying to teach him to be an independent learner so he will always be able to learn something on his own and not depending on anybody to teach something to him. So you have to figure out whether the schedule or the routine works best for you. And this is a trial and error and a process that you've got to find what works best for your family. Tip number 7 is take breaks. Now, I know you're thinking, why would we need breaks? What? Taking a break. If you and your child are in the middle of a math lesson and your child's not getting it and you're frustrated and your child's frustrated, nothing positive is going to come out of that situation. So take a break. Take a 5-minute break. Take a break and eat lunch. Take a break. Go get some water, get a drink, come back to the table, go to another subject, come back. If you have a really hectic week and things are just crazy with doctors, or something's going on with the family and you need to take that week off, take that week off. It's not going to hurt a thing. As long as you follow your state laws, some states require so many days that you homeschool, and some states require you to homeschool from a certain time and start at a certain time and end at a certain time. So make sure you know your state laws, but it's not going to hurt you to take a break and get up, walk away, compose yourself, and just know that that is okay. You've got to take those breaks. Your kids are going to need them. You're going to need them. Just take them. It's going to be fine. Tip number 8 is do not overload you or your child with a lot of subjects every single day. Now, yes, do your core subjects, but you don't have to do your core subjects plus the extras every single day. Now, every day we do Bible, we do history, we do language arts, and we do science. We do those every day. Now, foreign language, cursive handwriting, science experiments, music, art, those type things, the extra things, we don't do those every day. Because if you tried to cram all of that in one day, it would not be fun. It would be miserable for everybody. It would be a massive overload. So stick to the core subjects and move on. Now, a lot of homeschool moms do what we call Fun Fridays, where we do our art, our music, our foreign language, those field trips, art projects, science experiments, those type things we try to do on Fridays to make them fun and light and not cram everything in, because you don't have to do it all every single day. Tip number 9 is do not ever compare yourself, your child, or your homeschool to someone else. I know you're thinking, what in the world? But I'm telling you, every homeschool mom has done it. You will do it, and it's going to put doubt in your head, and it's going to make you feel terrible. But there is no reason for you to compare yourself, your child, or your homeschool to anybody else because we are all different. Everything works different for every single family. So what works for me may not work for you. And I know I keep saying that, but it is so important for you to know that just because my homeschool looks like this, that doesn't mean that yours has to look like that. You have to figure out what is best for your family. You're the mom, you know your children, and you know what is best. So do not go down that rabbit hole where you start comparing your homeschool, yourself, or your child to somebody else. It's not going to be productive. It's just going to drag you down, and it's not going to be good. So remember, never compare yourself, your child, or your homeschool to anybody else's. That is the best advice that I can give you. And I know I keep saying that, but it is so important because all homeschool moms do it at some point in their journey. And we have all figured out that we've got to find what works for us and stop looking at what the Joneses are doing and trying to keep up with them, because their son is reading chapter books and he's in first grade, and Sally over here is barely reading words in first grade. We don't know their learning styles. We don't know if there's special needs or anything like that. So never, ever compare yourself or your child or your homeschool to anyone else. And tip number 10 is the most important, besides number 9, is the most important. It is make time for yourself. You're a homeschooling mom, but that doesn't mean you cannot take 20 minutes for yourself somewhere after the kids have gone to bed. You sit, you read a book, whatever you enjoy, but you have got to make sure that you make time for yourself every day, or you will hit mom burnout. Because when you homeschool, you're the mom, the teacher, the principal, the lunch lady, I don't know, my kids call me everything, the chauffeur, you know, I'm that person. I wear all the hats, and because I'm here during the day, but when my husband gets home, he helps me. So I want you to know that you don't have to have the spotless house. You don't have to have all the clothes done, because let me tell you right now, on my couch, I have a pile of clean clothes that I need to fold. But that is not important. To me, importance is spending time with my children, putting them first, putting my family first, and taking that time that I need for myself. And most of the time that I take for myself is making these videos, because this is something I love and enjoy doing to help other homeschooling moms or moms out there that are thinking about homeschooling. So it doesn't have to be much time each day, but just carve out a window somewhere in your day where you take time for yourself, whether it is sitting in the bathtub, relaxing for a few minutes, or as some of my other homeschool mamas joke about, that we say we're in our basement. I'm in the South, we don't have basements, but we go to the basement and we go eat chocolate and we hide our candy stash from the kids. That's our 5 minutes that we needed for ourselves, then we take it. But you've got to make time for yourself. I hope this video and these tips have helped you on where to start, how to begin homeschooling. If you have questions, seriously, please drop them down in the comments. My email address is also down in the description box. You can email me if you don't want to leave a comment down in the comment section. I will be happy to respond to your email. But know that you are not alone on your homeschooling journey. There are so many of us out there that are here to support and encourage you through YouTube, through Facebook. We're just there. So please reach out if you ever have any questions to any homeschool moms, because there are no dumb questions, there's no silly questions, there's no stupid questions, okay? Believe me, I have asked every question possible, and I've always gotten an honest answer. Some of them might have laughed at me, but they were just doing it to lighten the mood because they knew how stressed I was. So just know it is okay to ask questions. As always, remember to be kind, be careful, be considerate, and have a great day. Bye.